Some stories make history, others simply make life a little brighter. Welcome to the brighter side of history. Welcome back. I'm Nina, and tonight we're looking at 10 events that remind us history isn't just about battles and treaties. It's about the moments that made the world a little brighter. The year is 1774. One curious experiment is about to reveal the invisible gas that helps almost every living thing survive. When English scientist Joseph Priestley began experimenting with unusual gases, he wasn't trying to change the world. In fact, he was simply fascinated by the strange behavior of air. But during one sunny August afternoon, a simple experiment with a magnifying glass would completely transform our understanding of the world around us. And, rather bravely, he decided to test the result on himself. Priestley immediately noticed something unusual. A candle placed inside the gas burned brighter than ever before. A laboratory mouse stayed active much longer than expected. Curiosity got the better of him, so he carefully breathed some himself. Understanding oxygen eventually helped improve medicine, aviation, diving, firefighting, and even space exploration. One discovery opened the door to modern chemistry and transformed our world. History often celebrates spectacular inventions, but sometimes the greatest discoveries are completely invisible. After all, you can't actually see oxygen, yet every breath you take is a reminder of that remarkable summer experiment. One quiet afternoon in a small laboratory helped unlock one of nature's greatest invisible secrets. Today, oxygen continues to sustain life across our planet. The year is 1926. A young American woman is about to prove that determination can travel further than prejudice. In 1926, many experts insisted that swimming the English Channel was simply too demanding for a woman. Gertrude Ederle had a rather straightforward response. She decided to swim it anyway. The English Channel had already defeated dozens of experienced swimmers. Powerful tides, freezing water, and unpredictable weather made it one of the world's toughest endurance challenges. Gertrude had already won Olympic medals, but this would be something altogether different. There would be no crowds cheering, just open sea. For more than 14 hours, she battled waves, changing tides, and painful jellyfish stings. Several times, her team asked if she wanted to stop. Her answer was wonderfully simple. What for? She just kept swimming. Not only did Gertrude become the first woman ever to swim the channel, she beat the men's record by almost 2 hours. Millions celebrated her achievement as she inspired generations of female athletes. The waves didn't know whether the swimmer was a man or a woman. They simply rewarded determination, and Gertrude Ederle had plenty of that. Golden sunlight reflects across calm water as Gertrude walks away. She beat the record and proved the doubters wrong, once and for all. The year is 1947. 6 men are about to prove that sometimes impossible journeys really are possible. When Norwegian explorer Thor Heyerdahl suggested ancient people could have crossed the Pacific on simple wooden rafts, most experts laughed, so he decided there was only one sensible thing to do: build one and find out. Remarkably, Heyerdahl refused to use modern technology. The raft was built almost entirely from natural materials. No engine, no metal hull, just logs, sails, and confidence. For 101 days, the tiny crew drifted across one of Earth's biggest oceans. Flying fish landed on deck. Sharks swam beneath them. Storms battered the raft. Yet somehow, it just kept floating. When Kon-Tiki finally reached Polynesia, it had proved something remarkable. Ancient technology was capable of astonishing journeys. Sometimes history's greatest experiments don't happen inside laboratories. They happen in the middle of an ocean. The Kon-Tiki reminds us that curiosity can be wonderfully adventurous. Sometimes asking, could they have done it, leads to someone answering, let's find out. The raft sails into a glowing Pacific sunset as seabirds circle overhead, marking the end of an impossible journey. The year is 1929, the largest flying machine on Earth prepares for an unforgettable journey. Before jumbo jets crossed continents, there was another way to travel the world, slowly, silently, and with rather spectacular views. The Graf Zeppelin offered dining rooms, cabins, and panoramic windows high above the Earth. In August 1929, it began an ambitious mission to fly around the entire world. The journey crossed Europe, Siberia, Japan, the Pacific Ocean, and America. Wherever it appeared, crowds stopped what they were doing simply to stare upwards. For many people, it looked like the future had arrived. The flight became one of aviation's greatest achievements. Although the age of giant airships would eventually fade, the Graf Zeppelin remains an elegant example of human engineering and adventure. Sometimes traveling isn't just about reaching the destination, it's about making the journey unforgettable. Few journeys have ever looked quite as beautiful as this one. The Graf Zeppelin disappears into glowing orange clouds, leaving a silver streak across history. The year is 1793. One royal palace is about to open its doors to ordinary people for the very first time. For centuries, magnificent works of art had belonged largely to kings, queens, and the wealthy. Then France had a wonderfully radical idea. What if everyone could enjoy them? The French Revolution transformed the royal palace in Paris. Instead of remaining an exclusive residence, its vast halls became home to hundreds of paintings and sculptures that ordinary citizens could finally admire. Visitors wandered through galleries filled with masterpieces that had once been hidden behind palace walls. It was an extraordinary idea. Art wasn't simply decoration for royalty anymore. It belonged to everyone. Today, the Louvre welcomes millions from every corner of the globe. Its collection tells thousands of years of human creativity, and it all began with one remarkable decision: to throw open the palace doors. Some buildings become famous because they're beautiful. The Louvre became legendary because it invited the whole world inside. Evening falls over the Louvre as warm golden lights illuminate the museum. A remarkable decision that invited the whole world inside. The year is 1975. A wonderfully strange little film is about to become one of cinema's greatest success stories by failing first. Most filmmakers dream of opening to packed cinemas and glowing reviews. The Rocky Horror Picture Show didn't. Audiences weren't sure what they'd just watched. Critics were baffled. It looked like its life would be very short indeed. The film mixed horror movies, outrageous costumes, and wonderfully absurd humor. It was unlike anything seen before. Unfortunately, being completely different isn't always the easiest way to become a box office success. Instead of disappearing, something unexpected happened. Late-night cinemas began showing it. Fans started dressing as the characters. Before long, audiences were performing alongside it, shouting jokes and throwing props. Going to Rocky Horror became an event. Today, nearly 50 years later, audiences are still attending midnight screenings across the world. It holds the record as the longest continuously running theatrical release in history. A film that almost nobody wanted became one that generations couldn't live without. Sometimes fitting in isn't the goal. Sometimes being wonderfully different is exactly what the world has been waiting for. A cinema marquee glows beneath the night sky as costumed fans disappear laughing through the entrance. The year is 1978. Three adventurers are about to drift across an entire ocean. Imagine spending nearly 6 days suspended beneath a balloon, crossing the Atlantic with no engine, no wings, and nowhere to stop. It sounds slightly terrifying. To these three men, it sounded like a wonderful adventure. Crossing the Atlantic by balloon had frustrated explorers for almost 200 years. Once airborne, there was very little anyone could do except trust the wind. For 5 days, they floated above clouds, storms, and endless ocean. Space was tiny. Sleep came in bursts. Meals were basic. But every sunrise carried them a little closer to Europe. When they landed safely in France, They had become the first people ever to cross the Atlantic successfully by balloon. The return journey home, that took just 3.5 hours aboard Concorde. History can have quite a sense of humor. When they landed safely in France, they had become the first people ever to cross the Atlantic successfully by balloon. The return journey home, that took just 3.5 hours aboard Concorde. History can have quite a sense of humor. Sometimes the quickest way home comes after taking the slowest possible route there. The balloon drifts peacefully into a golden sunrise. Sometimes the quickest way home comes after taking the slowest possible route there. The year is 1868. Scientists are about to discover something extraordinary, 93 million miles away. When astronomers gathered to observe a total solar eclipse, they expected beautiful views of the sun. Instead, they discovered a brand new element, not in a laboratory, but inside the sun itself. By splitting sunlight into its rainbow of colors, astronomers could identify chemical elements. During the eclipse, a mysterious yellow line appeared. It belonged to something entirely new. It was named helium after Helios, the Greek god of the sun. The remarkable part? Scientists knew helium existed in space almost 30 years before they discovered it here on Earth. Today, helium cools MRI scanners, helps launch rockets, and, of course, keeps party balloons floating. Today, helium cools MRI scanners, helps launch rockets, and, of course, keeps party balloons floating. Its story reminds us that sometimes humanity discovers the answers by looking upwards. Every balloon floating happily above a birthday party has a remarkable secret. Its story actually began inside a star. Colorful balloons rise gently into a brilliant blue sky before dissolving into the glowing sun. The year is 1960. Two unlikely astronauts are about to make history with wagging tails. Before Yuri Gagarin became the first human in space, someone else had shown the journey could be survived. Actually, make that two someones, and both of them happened to be dogs. The Soviet space program needed to understand whether living creatures could safely survive orbit. Belka and Strelka were carefully trained. They instantly became celebrities. Strelka's puppy was even gifted to the Kennedy family. Their success gave scientists confidence. Sometimes history's greatest pioneers don't wear spacesuits. Sometimes they simply wag their tails. Belka and Strelka remind us that courage comes in every shape and size. Even four-legged explorers can help change the world. Their successful mission gave scientists vital confidence before sending humans into orbit. Sometimes history's greatest pioneers don't wear spacesuits. Sometimes they simply wag their tails. Even four-legged explorers can help change the world. It reminds us that courage comes in every shape and size. The Earth slowly turns beneath the stars while two small dog silhouettes chase one another across the moon. The year is 1885. A rather unusual wooden machine is about to become the world's first motorcycle. When people imagine the first motorcycle, they often picture gleaming chrome and roaring engines. The reality looked rather different. It was mostly made of wood and needed extra wheels just to stay upright. Daimler wanted to prove that a lightweight petrol engine could power personal transport. He added an engine to a wooden bicycle. Motorcycling had certainly made an unforgettable entrance. Progress rarely begins with perfection. It starts with someone brave. Although few recognized its importance then, Daimler's wooden invention became the ancestor of every motorcycle that followed. Today, hundreds of millions of riders owe something to that quirky little machine with its burning seat. Although few recognized its importance then, Daimler's wooden invention became the ancestor of every motorcycle that followed. Today, hundreds of millions of riders owe something to that quirky machine. The first version of almost anything usually looks a little unusual. Progress rarely begins with perfection. It usually starts with someone brave enough to build something wonderfully odd. The right wagon rides into the distance before transforming into a modern machine. Progress starts with someone brave enough to build something wonderfully odd. That's your look at the brighter side of history for this month. 10 events to educate, entertain, and amuse. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to follow for more feel-good stories from history.